What's up, Z Nation? It's your boy Trip.
And I'm Mama Bear.
And we are coming to you today with heavy hearts today. If this is your first time visiting our channel, we are for Gen Z. We are a millennial and a non-millennial,
Right.
making sure that we pass all of our knowledge and everything we know to the next generation, and we actually join with them to make them better instead of tearing them down.
Right. And it's important that not only do we want to impart the knowledge that we have to them, but we want to intake the knowledge that they have to make us all better.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other. So that's how the
Right.
world is built, on that wisdom of the bridging of the gaps.
Oh, yeah. So I'm sure you've all heard by now, but today is a sad day. Kobe Bryant actually passed away today at the age of 41 in a helicopter plane crash. It happened last night or yesterday morning, and it was no survivors. So today is Mamba Monday. We normally do Mukbang Monday, but we are dedicating it to Kobe Bryant, who was a man that was more than basketball.
Right.
For sure. Definitely
sure,
more than
for sure.
basketball. So today is Mamba Monday, and
So because it's not Mukbang Monday, we're still eating our comfort foods today.
oh yeah.
And we are going to have Panera. So I got broccoli and cheddar soup and just a garden salad with chicken. It's a cold day in Ohio, sad day in Ohio. What'd you get?
Turkey bacon Bravo.
Staple.
It's
The go-to.
Yeah,
Go-to.
yeah. So this
So-
is comfort food, grieving food today.
Right. Because I think the whole world is grieving, and I think it's important that we just tell y'all that we're not taking this podcast lightly today. We're coming at the perspective of honoring and remembering a man from a fan perspective, but he meant so much more to so many people, and so just our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, of course, his wife, the daughters that still remain, his close friends, personal friends. You got coaches, you got players, you got the NBA, the WNBA. He was a businessman. Man, I walked into the grocery store today, and the first thing on display was like a special, those sales like 2 for $4 or whatever,
Right.
for the body armor. And I'm just like, ugh, like
Right.
it was more than basketball. So just to his whole community that's closer than us fans would have ever been, our thoughts and prayers are with you. We don't take this lightly. We are coming from a fan perspective, but understand that there are a lot of people hurting a lot deeper than the fans. And I can't fathom having to grieve in spotlight.
Yeah.
Just like,
Right.
and so I just pray that people will let the families and, respect their privacy and all of those things. I remember one day we live near Akron or in Akron, and I was at Target one day and LeBron James was there. And he was it looked like buying cameras or something.
Right.
But there was this sea of people that just engulfed,
Right.
all around him. I'm like, man, this dude can't even go to Target. And I remember just praying for him right there, like, Lord, just give him some days of normalcy, because that has to be hard, kind of living in
Every
a
day.
fishbowl. And
Yeah.
I get, there's different perspectives. Well, they get paid, they sign up for it, but at the end of the day, they're human beings. They just happen to be, at the top of their craft and are getting rewarded for that. So all that to say, we respect everyone that's involved on a personal and deeper level, and hope the world will let them have their privacy, grieve together collectively, but also be there for them in my thoughts and prayers. So, but can you imagine that whole global thing? Like when we talk about generations, like his death was basically sent out in a tweet. I mean,
Yeah. The power of social media. I mean, literally minutes from it happening to it being written in an article was less than 10 minutes.
Right. It blows my mind. Like, could you imagine a person sitting there because I mean the whole world's in shock.
Right. So I mean, Twitter is the news. So
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, like where I grew up, and I would have to wait till 11 o'clock news to see what
Right,
happened that day.
right.
I mean, Twitter is you're getting news and updates
instantaneously. I remember, and it's crazy to me. Like to me, it's kind of frightening.
Yeah.
Like there are probably some family members that found out on Twitter before the family.
Yeah.
Like I remember being at a homegoing service for a family member, and someone got
That's a funeral.
Sorry, a funeral.
That's a funeral.
Sorry.
Homegoing service.
We'll talk about those differences later. That's not a generational thing. That's a cultural thing.
Yes.
But we were at a funeral service, and someone got up to memorize this person. They were like, I didn't even know. I found out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this world is crazy and how it operates. But just the power of social media is...
Yeah.
It is what it is, though.
It is wild, though, because, I mean, even with their careers, they find out a lot of moves. Like, if they get traded to a different team, usually they have to find out through social media before they're even contacted through the team.
Through the team. That is just nuts to me.
So, I mean,
I remember watching an episode of The Shop, and they were talking about when Magic retired.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, I think Lonzo Ball was there, and they're like, how'd you find out? He's like, he got it through a message from him. Like,
right.
It's just like crazy how
social media is powerful.
So powerful.
So it can either lift you up or tear you down.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not to say that it's wrong. I just think there has to be a balance of just privacy and that human decency.
Exactly. Because, I mean, it definitely dictates the narrative, because even on Twitter, when I was looking through it, I mean, there were just multiple stories, multiple people, went from 4 people to 5 people to 9 people to different people being involved.
And we still don't know. And we want that on record. There's so much of the story out there that hasn't
you really don't
been
know.
Told, so we're not confessing to know anything.
Mm-hmm.
But just the different stories. And this person was on a plane. Then, no, that's fake news. And I don't know.
It's you definitely have to take everything with a grain of salt, and this is where the maturity kind of comes in, to where you have to understand that social media isn't like the know-all. Just because it's online doesn't mean it's in line with the truth. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to kind of like give and take what you want to accept, or give and take what you feel like is real.
Judgment.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where it comes in. With any great tool, you definitely got to use it the right way, right?
Right. So we're not saying it's wrong. We're just saying it's powerful, and I think we could be a little bit more wise and use better judgment in some situations.
Yeah. So. My timeline is filled, as it should be. I mean, he's definitely great, but I mean, the media is powerful.
Yes. Yes. Trending.
Yeah.
Trending.
So what's your thought? Your earliest thought or memory on Kobe Bryant?
My first memory was back in the day. I worked at, it was a job, but it was more of an opportunity. I worked at the Ohio State Fair. And what I did was I was on what they call the State Junior Fair Board. And so they just got a bunch of young leaders from the community, and you're basically ambassadors for the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
But you got to live on the site. They had dorms at the state fair. So you lived there, and you just did leadership things. You spoke. You were ushers and things like that.
How old were you when this was?
I was probably...
let's say college?
No, I was a junior in high school.
Oh, so you were in high school. Okay.
I was a junior in high school. And
you said that, and I just want...
Yeah. Yep. Junior high school, and one of the jobs of the... You can eat, because I'm babbling, then we'll switch off.
Oh, no, you could.
But one of the jobs that we had was ushering, and we would usher all the concerts. And at the state fair, you would get big headliners that would come in, and so it was fun for us because we got to usher the concert, see the concert for free, and then meet the artists. Well, I remember that summer, Brandy was in concert. You remember Brandy?
Oh, I remember Brandy.
Okay. She was in concert, and we got to meet her after the show, like taking pictures and stuff. And I believe there were some reporters or something. And one of the questions was, how's it going to be going to prom with Kobe Bryant? And everyone was just like, what? like, the news wasn't supposed to break there, of course.
Right.
But that was kind of my first introduction. I'm like, who was Kobe Bryant? Because at that time, I didn't really know about
who Kobe
Bryant was.
So you heard his name, but no idea.
Right.
You knew Brandy.
Right. I knew Kobe. Brandy, but not Kobe.
So you knew Kobe before.
Right.
Before
right. And
Mamba.
then it just kind of started unraveling when it's this kid that can ball
Right.
and going straight to the NBA out of high school and everything else that continued to follow. But that was one of my first memories of who is this Kobe Bryant guy?
Yeah. Well, one of my first memories is definitely a basketball memory of Kobe. I grew up playing basketball, so when I was like 9 or 10, I remember him talking about this Kobe Bryant. He won the McDonald's dunk, or he won the dunk contest coming in. He had won the high school dunk contest. Just all of this
Just
big
all
name
his
stuff. But he was like
accolades.
bald. He was like bald head then,
I remember that.
and he was just super bald. It was by choice because obviously he had hair. After that, he grew a fro. Went to fro Kobe and all that. But that was the first memory of Kobe was that first year in the NBA, him winning the dunk contest and just not really balling out like crazy, but
Right. Do you remember at the time that he came in your mind, who was the greatest basketball player at that time?
man, I can't even remember. Jordan had Jordan was still there, but I mean, he was coming to the end of his days.
Got to go play baseball.
Yeah, I mean, you still had the powerhouse teams in there, but
yeah.
I can't remember a specific player that stood out to me honestly before Kobe. I mean, aside from Jordan, I mean, the lineage is Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Like that's
Right.
the transfer of superpower that's been
Right.
going on for 30 years. You know what I
Passing
mean?
of the torch. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, besides that, I can't really remember any team. I went from Bulls. I was a Laker fan, but really I was a 76ers fan growing up.
With Iverson.
Yeah, with Iverson. But I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. And I think probably why, I mean, of course, everyone knew who Kobe Bryant was, but a lot of my I guess, the basis of my fans was in college. So you say 76ers Iverson, I say he played at Georgetown.
Right,
And so I
yeah.
followed the college game really closely. And then in the NBA, it just kind of got
Jumbled together.
jumbled for me.
Right.
So with him not going to college, it was probably the first time I paid attention to the NBA outside of the Lakers
Because that wasn't
versus
happening all the
Celtics.
time. Yeah,
Exactly.
That wasn't happening.
It was brand new. It was brand new.
So yeah, we know Kobe as the basketball player, but let's talk about him as
the human
just
being.
the human, the man, like what he did off the court. Because he actually did a lot that people really don't know about.
Right.
Like, so he preached the Mamba mentality. So on the court, that's kind of easy to kind of explain.
Oh, yeah, right.
Be the best, practice the hardest. Do whatever you can to win. Like he had one quote. And I don't want to misquote him, so I'm going to read it. He said that
Everything is trending right now. It's
right.
ridiculous.
He said winning takes precedence over all. There's no gray area, no almost. So, I mean, I know a lot of people talk about now where we had that big thing where you had professional athletes throwing away their kids' participation trophies. Because why are you getting a trophy for participating?
participating.
You didn't win anything. You just participated. And Kobe, he said winning takes precedence. Like anything else, there's no gray
Like, it
area. There's no
literally was
almost.
everything.
That's what it was. So I mean, that mentality, I think he took on not just on the court, but off the court and everything he did in life. Because I mean, what was some of the stuff that he?
Well, just the businesses. He won an Oscar. He wrote a book. He was a rap artist.
Right.
Like the list goes on, but for me, I think what I can resonate with is because I think that's what we're trying to do and what we want to do collectively and individually is just to be an influence.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of positive influence. And everyone you could see on ESPN today, you could see the tweets. Everyone was influenced by him in a positive way. Whether it's his drive made me want to get better. I like hearing about the stories of teammates that he actually fought with because he wanted to win so bad.
Right.
And I just think that power of influence, that's how you know that, you've lived a life worth living when you can influence others.
Right.
Like, my question is, where would they have his memorial service?
Actually a big question.
Or will they have two? Or, what?
And that's the stuff that's going to be under scrutiny, where a normal person would have that privacy. It's going to, all of that is going to matter. You can't move like normal. You're going to need
Yeah.
literally barricades.
And it's
everywhere.
another thing when we were talking earlier about just everyone that is impacted. We really have to, give our hearts and condolences to the city of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really talks about the effect that he had on that city and being there for the amount of time he did, and kind of bringing Showtime back after Magic. But you have to think of a community. They just lost Nipsey Hussle.
Yep.
Now they've lost Kobe, and so I think that we
tough
really
time.
it's going to be tough for that city, and people do lots of things. People grieve differently. So I hope that city can rebound and move forward in both of those legacies and what they were trying to do for their respective industries and the community.
Yeah. So let's get into some good things about Kobe. So if you didn't know, Kobe was a rapper. He was a rap artist, and he actually even when he did the rapping, he took it very serious. Good or not, I mean that's your opinion. Actually, let's listen to some Kobe lyrics real quick.
All this. Come on. Right. Yo. It's like this. What I live for? Basketball, beats and brawls from Italy to the US.
He was definitely better at basketball.
I'm in search for the one that made my wealth feel poor.
But the good thing that came from this rapping, that's where he actually met his wife at.
Oh, is that the story?
Yeah. So the story is, though his rap career wasn't long as his basketball career, he met his wife while he was doing his rapping, Vanessa Bryant. So
he had a track with Tyra Banks too. You remember that?
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, he tried it all, I guess. And then as he got older, so he got the Oscar for. So he has a TV studio. He has Kobe Studios. Various endorsement deals, drinks, and then Mamba Academy is, I mean, people really don't even know, but it's not just basketball.
Right.
They teach adults and children the Mamba mentality in different sports. So
different sports,
basketball, volleyball, track.
Yeah, there was a international soccer player, I believe. They had a game today. I don't know if it's international or not, but he scored a goal and held up the 2-4, and they were explaining about how Kobe would train with him.
Yeah.
The soccer player.
Right.
So just that goes back to that influence, and just in every area of your life.
Right.
Wherever I go, I can impact and influence. That's just powerful.
And it crossed, like you said, sports. It crossed types of careers, because it's not just basketball. It was how he approached life.
Right. And if you hear people talk about him that really knew him, would describe him as one of the most intelligent people they knew, speaking different languages, being in charge of his businesses, and how he would maneuver those things, and just living life through intellect. And I think there have been so many things today, but
Kobe did stuff that
was like,
regular people wouldn't even do.
Wouldn't even
and he
think
didn't have
about
to
doing
do it.
Exactly. And that's what they were saying, like just his drive. Oh, I think the commentator said his curiosity of life just drove him. His curiosity about language, about whatever it was, he was going to find out how that curiosity was going to drive his life.
Right.
And the crazy thing is, I think it was Barack Obama who tweeted out today. And he said that, are basically giving condolences to the family. And it said it was appearing that he was living out beautifully Act 2 of his life, meaning life after basketball.
Right.
And how that was even more...
Because he's been retired for 4 years.
For 4 years, right. And so just everything that he's doing with his family, with his daughters, being that father figure, with his businesses for other people. We haven't even mentioned about his advocacy for the WNBA.
Right.
Those things are just monumental, and what people would do in one lifetime, he was about to start the second act of doing all these great things because of that Mamba mentality.
And he's considered a legend at 41. That's young.
That is crazy.
And we're using a legend term
Legend
with him.
at 41. At 41.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read an article that said, and it was from a prominent businessman, billionaire, and he said that Kobe would do cold calls to other business people. So he would call them, "Hey, it's Kobe Bryant. I just wanted to know, pick your brain about business." He wouldn't set up an interview or a meeting. He would cold call them.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
And pick their brain. And he said this was constantly.
I like the quote that we read earlier from him, and it was, I'm going to jack it up, so maybe you can pull it up so I don't
Yeah, go
put it
ahead,
out
try
of
your best,
context.
and then
But basically, it was, basically, he does not affiliate with lazy people. And if you're lazy, I don't want to know you.
He said, I can't relate to lazy people. We don't speak the same language. I don't understand you, and I don't want to understand you.
That is deep.
And I mean, he was literally instilling this in his family too. You know what I mean? In his girls.
Right.
You know, because Gigi was also, you know, on a helicopter, and that was the daughter that you would see courtside with him all the time.
Yeah. And they were going to a game. I mean, just the irony. What about the irony of LeBron breaking, now 2 nights, breaking his scoring record and him passing on the next day? What do you think about the irony of that?
I mean, it's very cinematic. Like the way it unfolded, it almost doesn't seem real. You know,
like,
coincidental.
Are we being punked?
Right.
Like, are we?
Because it's like you break a Legends record, and then literally less than 24 hours later, we lose that person. You know what I mean? And even up to, you know, a few hours before, LeBron and Kobe were tweeting back and forth to each other. You know, and just to be that close to that person and then lose them, I can, like, even how I feel, like, I don't know Kobe personally. Most people don't know Kobe personally, but we all feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So just imagine the impact that he actually had on the people
that he knew,
that he was around, that he influenced. Right. So, I mean, it's kind of...
Now, there's a young lady that he coached that plays for Oregon, and they played today. And during the entry, you could just tell she was just overwhelmed, you know, with emotion and just grief and sorrow. So, like you said, if the world hurts like this, I can't imagine the people closest to him and in his life circle, how they're feeling. I have a cousin, we grew up together, and I can always remember his dad was from North Carolina. So it was Michael Jordan all day, every day. And they would literally get in heated arguments about who's the best. And my cousin, he loved Kobe Bryant, just hands down favorite player, you know. So I called him today, first person I called, because I'm like, he is hurting. And he didn't answer the phone. And so I texted him, I was like, cuz, are you okay? And he's like, I can't talk right now. So I get the magnitude, especially when you're a fan or family or whatever. Anyone who can influence the world like they did.
Yeah.
It hurts. It hurts. So.
Man, so speaking back on the LeBron and Kobe comparison, so even up to this point, literally GOAT talks, greatest of all time. Who's the greatest of all time? And I mean, those talks have silence. That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I was talking to a coworker a couple weeks ago. I don't know why, but we were talking about death. And I said, for me, the hardest part in death is that life still goes on.
Yeah.
And so, like, you could be at a funeral or something, and you're heading to the cemetery, and you look around, and there's just cars going through the street lights, and people going into buildings, and just like nothing ever happened. If that person wasn't influential to the world and community, life goes on. No matter what, it's going to go on, and that's a hard concept for me.
Yeah. And you don't think about it until it happens.
You
don't realize I saw a tweet today that said you don't understand how much of a blessing it is to leave your house and then come back that night.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And things that are that simple you don't think about until you don't have that opportunity.
Yeah, I saw a quote once too. It was in an article, like, every person that died today had plans
for tomorrow.
Yeah. Like, you know, what was his plans for tomorrow? or even
Something
that
great.
day.
Yeah.
On yesterday, the plan was to get on a helicopter and go to the game.
And that's the other crazy part, because it wasn't like that he never rode on the helicopter. This was normal for Kobe to get
Stephen
on the
A. Smith
helicopter.
alluded to that because I feel like he probably just being in the media world, but he alluded to the fact that alluded to the fact that Kobe Bryant did this all the time. It wasn't like he had a fear of helicopters or
Right.
was expecting something to
Like,
go
this
wrong.
was all the
This
time.
was their normal. Hop on, and
They said he
get to
actually
where
would
you
take
go.
it to practices, games, whatever it was, and he said it kept him out of the LA traffic and
Yep.
kept him ready to play.
Yep.
Like, so just get in the helicopter.
It was just a normal, so you can't even
Right.
go down that route. So
And we still don't know. Maybe more information will be out, but we still don't know the exact cause of
Right. What
how everything
happened.
happened.
And just going back to social media, like it's on
Yeah.
film,
Yeah.
the whole accident. So it's a lot to digest.
For sure. Kobe's one of those people who transcends generations. So we talk about Generation Z a lot, and and now we have the Alpha generation, who is babies to 10, and then Generation Z, which is 11 to 24, 24 to whatever is our millennials. And then you have
Generation X.
Generation X after that, and then baby boomers.
Right. Which
Okay.
previous episodes say that I'm a baby boomer, but I'm not.
But I say that to say that any person in that age range, they all knew who Kobe
All knew.
was.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no matter what.
I mean,
You either saw him coming in, you either wore his jersey, or you played him on the video game.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, you knew. No matter what generation, you knew.
and
Absolutely.
and him with that Mamba mentality is definitely something that he was trying to instill in the next generation, for sure. Like, work hard, like, even though you have, these opportunities. Yeah.
We've given 50 million quotes, but I think we've talked about him as a person and just the effect on the community. But I think we should continue to talk about him as a player and just all the accolades and some of our memories from him as a player. But before that, why don't we do our quote of the day and our challenge of the day, and then we'll continue to talk about him as a player.
Okay. So, you got it?
You can do it because
All right. So, she got crook in her neck.
I had cold.
It says that, and this is a Kobe quote. It says that everything negative, pressure, challenges, it's all an opportunity for me to rise. And I think that's exactly how he literally
how
lived
he
his
did
life.
it, and I think we chose that
Yeah.
for the world, just to know that this is a challenge, it's a pressure, it's communities are like shook right now, but we have to look at it as an opportunity to rise, and what are we going to do with his legacy and his legend. Which brings us to the challenge of the day. We were having that discussion even before we started the podcast of, could you imagine being 41 and being a legend?
Yeah.
And just what that took, it just took that grit, that grind, and that mentality, and all those things that he was willing to do. But Generation Z, have you thought about what your legacy is going to be on this earth? And if not, we challenge you to start today. If you're an adult, the worst thing you can do to ask a child is, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, yeah, we did talk about this.
Because that really just boxes them in. So you have a lot of people that say, oh, I want to be a doctor when I grow up.
Right.
So either two things that happen. One, they become a doctor, and then they're just a doctor, and then they don't live out life outside of that.
Right.
Or two, they don't become a doctor and either feel
Right.
disappointed
Yeah. I
or
couldn't do
staggered.
that.
I couldn't
Right.
do it, or, those type of things. But he said the most important question you can ask a child is, what is your purpose? Mm-hmm. Because if you're living your purpose, that's going to lead to what your legend and legacy will be.
Right.
So
And purpose doesn't always translate to the highest paying possible job you can get.
exactly. Or it could, just
It
in
could,
a different
right.
route. But why do those things if it's not what you truly are on this earth to do? So I feel that, although I feel like it's a very early age, but if Kobe's purpose was to be influential and impact others' lives through the spirit of greatness, I think he did that.